You know, I was knee-deep in the dust of some godforsaken outpost in the Middle East, nursing a cup of coffee that tasted like regret, when Sergeant Ellis busted into the tent waving this envelope like it had just insulted his mama. "Captain Thompson, you gotta see this. Some pencil pushers back home are claiming your farm's theirs now." I stared at him, thinking it was a prank because out there bad news usually meant a flat tire or a Dear John letter, not your whole damn legacy getting swiped while you're dodging bullets for Uncle Sam. But nope, there it was in black and white, this smug notice from an HOA I'd never signed up for, saying they'd auctioned off my Arizona farm to cover community dues I didn't owe, all while I was deployed and couldn't fight back. Man, that hit me like a sucker punch. My farm wasn't just dirt and fences. It was where my old man had carved out a life after the oil rigs broke him, where I'd poured every penny from my enlistment bonus to pay it off clean before shipping out. No liens, no debts, just wide open acres under that endless sky. But this HOA queen bee, Karen Whitaker, had swooped in like a vulture on roadkill, slapping a fake lion for neighborhood upkeep, even though my land sat miles outside their fancy Oak Ridge community. Turns out she'd been eyeing it for expansion, jealous of the prime views my hills had over her cookie-cutter suburb. And with me gone, she figured she could bulldoze my boundaries, subdivide it into lots for her cronies, and pocket the profits under the guise of community cohesion. I could picture her, all pearls and power suits, smirking at board meetings about how an absentee owner like me was dragging down property values. Pure greed wrapped in bylaws, and it burned me up inside, thinking of my dad's weathered gatepost, etched with his initials, getting yanked for some vinyl sign flapping in the wind. I didn't explode, though, not my style. Instead, I went quiet, the kind of quiet that brews like a storm, folding that letter carefully because it was my only proof. And right then I swore I'd turn this mess into my personal mission, Operation Homestead. Back in the tent, I scratched out messages on spotty comms to folks I trusted. My buddy Mike Reynolds, who'd driven by and seen the new streets where my cattle trough used to be, even tried confronting Karen, who brushed him off with that icy politeness, saying, "Oh, honey, it's all legal now, better for everyone." Then there was Lieutenant Hayes, my old squad mate turned records hound, who dug up the holes in their paperwork faster than a coyote after a rabbit. Turns out the auction violated the Service Members Civil Relief Act 6 ways to Sunday, since they never properly notified me while deployed, and their lien was bogus, backdated to make it look like I'd ignored warnings I never got. By week's end, my CO signed off on emergency leave, and as the plane rattled homeward, I replayed it all. Every slope of my land, every stubborn cactus, vowing Karen was about to learn you don't mess with a guy's roots, especially when those roots run deep through generations of sweat and sacrifice. Touching down in Arizona felt like stepping into an oven, the dry heat wrapping around me like an old blanket mixed with fury. And Mike was there at the airport with his beat-up Chevy, a six-pack of root beer chilling in the cooler, no small talk needed. We just drove straight to the farm, or what was left of it. Rounding the bend, my stomach twisted at the sight. My fence gone, replaced by this gaudy archway screaming Oak Ridge Community in fake gold letters, and beyond it, rows of identical stucco houses, their lawns fake green and perfect, like a bad dream plopped on my pasture. We pulled up short, and I got out, staring at what used to be my barn, now painted some bland taupe to match the aesthetic, and that's when a shiny Lexus cruised by, slowing like they smelled trouble, Joe paranoia already kicking in. Mike muttered, "Word's out you're back, Jack." And I nodded, feeling that soldier's calm settle in, the one that says game's on. We rolled into the heart of it, past couples walking yappy dogs who shot us those "you don't belong" glances, right up to the HOA office, a squat box of entitlement with half-drawn blinds. Before I could knock, the door swung open, and there she was, Karen Whitaker, hair helmeted against the breeze, blouse crisp as a drill sergeant's crease, eyes narrowing like a hawk spotting prey. "You must be Mr. Thompson," she drawled, voice dripping honey over venom. I stepped close, keeping it level. "That's right. And you've been squatting on my farm." Her lips curled. Oh no, dear, this is Oak Ridge now. Sold fair and square at auction. Maybe if you'd paid your dues. I cut in, voice low and steady. Lady, I was overseas serving while you pulled this scam. That land's mine, paid in full, and your little paper trail's about to unravel. She laughed, sharp and dismissive. Community values don't wait for absentees. But I saw the flicker in her eyes, that first crack, as I turned away, telling Mike, she's bluffing, but she knows trouble's coming. From there, it was war by inches. Me and Mike spread out maps at his place, piecing together the timeline. Karen's HOA had faked jurisdiction, backdated notices out of spite for my unkempt farm lowering her resale vibes, then rigged the auction to a shell buyer tied to her nephew, carving up my acres for quick flips. But they'd slipped. County records still showed my name on key parcels, and Hayes confirmed the CRA violations could flip the whole thing. I looped in Attorney Ellis, a wiry vet specialist who grinned like a fox in a henhouse. Jack, this case is gold. We'll freeze 'em cold. We filed fast. Challenges to the sale, injunctions halting builds, demands for their books. Meanwhile, I went undercover, ball cap low, posing as a handyman, snapping pics of their shoddy lots, chatting up a foreman who spilled they were rushing sales before paperwork snags. Gold for our case. Then came Tom, a grizzled retiree in one of their houses, fuming at a clipboard goon over his non-compliant bird feeder. Turns out he'd quit the board after catching Karen doctoring expenses, siphoning dues for her spa days disguised as consulting. He slipped me files over coffee in his garage, whispering, "She's a tyrant, Jack. Use this to bury her." With that ammo, we escalated. Deputy Attorney Laura Vargas joined, spotting a plat map error where their subdivision streets looped right over my untouched master parcel, rushed greed leaving boundaries open, meaning half their roads were mine. "We've got 'em, Jack," she said softly, that calm that silences storms. We sent surveyors, my old unit pals Ramirez and Chen, staking flags through their precious park, gazebo and all, while homeowners whispered, unease spreading like wildfire. The hearing was electric, the room packed, Karen up front with her suits, face tight as we laid it out, Ellis blasting the fake lien, Laura projecting the botched plat, me testifying plain. That farm's my bloodline, stolen while I served. Karen squirmed under questions. Why fine a non-member? She stammered, oversight, but the commissioners weren't buying, ruling the plat invalid, auction void, land reverting to me, houses included if unresolved. Outside, reporters swarmed. "Ms. Whitaker, comment on the fraud charges." She bolted, pale as her empire crumbled, the office raided, board fleeing, her facing embezzlement for those shady transfers. Standing on my reclaimed hill that sunset, flags pulled, the stucco boxes looking small and silly, I felt whole again, rebuilt the gate with Dad's initials, auctioned most houses fair to repay the duped folks, kept a few for rentals, even left their goofy fountain as a birdbath reminder of absurdity. But here's the thing that nags. Was Karen just greedy? Or did community rules blind her to right and wrong? Could anyone snap like that under pressure? What do you think? Ever dealt with HOA hell, or seen land grabs twist good intentions? Drop a comment, share your story. Let's unpack if justice always wins, or if these fights leave scars worth the win. Hit subscribe if you dig real tales like this. More coming.